Hey guys, welcome back to Mr. Abadi TV. Today we're going to be going back on the guitar and we're going to be looking at three brand new chords, A major, D major and E major, and we're going to put them together in the song Three Little Birds. Okay, so let's see how these chords are formed individually first. Okay, so first up we're looking at A major. Now as you can see, all of the fingers on this chord go on the second fret, okay? Your first finger goes on the D string, which is 1, 2, 3 from the top, and then your second and third fingers go in a line after it, all in the same fret, 1, 2, 3, together like that. Let's see how this looks like played on the guitar. Okay, so the first chord we're looking at here is A major. Like I said, we're going on the second fret, so it's this one here, and we're starting with our first finger, not on the top string, not on the second string, but on the third string, which is the D from the top, okay? Your middle finger then goes underneath that string, and your third finger then goes underneath that one, almost in a bit of a diagonal line across there to play all three notes in the chord, and that's A major. Okay, let go, see if you can do that again, starting from the top, 1, 2, 3, middle finger underneath, third finger underneath that one, A major all together there. Okay, next up we've got our D major chord. Now again, our first two fingers are on the second fret here, okay? Where we start is we put our second finger down at the bottom string, second fret for the first one, and then your first finger goes 2 strings above that, so you miss a string out, and then your third finger comes around on the next fret and goes in between those two, okay? So D, 2 on the bottom, 1, 2 strings up, and 3 in between that. Let's see how that looks like on the guitar. Okay, so next chord, D major. So like we said when I was talking there, your middle finger goes on the bottom string on the second fret. Your first finger then not goes on the second string above it, but the string above that, so we're missing one out, so there should be a string going between those two fingers and not touching them, which is important. Then your third finger needs to go on the third fret, not on the bottom string, but on the second from bottom string. So altogether it looks like this, okay? As you can see, I'm not pushing down the first 3 strings, it's all on the bottom 3 strings. Start again, middle finger, second fret, bottom string. First finger then not on the string above, but the string above that one, so miss one out and hit it. Almost like you're creating a tunnel for this string to go through. And then your third finger comes around and pushes down not the bottom string, but the second from bottom string on the third fret to make a D major. Just like that, okay? And the final chord is E major. Now the shape of it looks very similar to A minor, except everything is up 1 string. So as you can see, your second finger is going to go on the second string on the second fret, and your third finger is going to go underneath that on the third fret like that, leaving your first finger to go on the next string down, but on the fret before. So it's almost like you're making this kind of shape, okay? So you've got 2 and 3 on the second fret, and then you've got your first finger on the string lower than those two on the fret before that, okay? Let's see what this looks like on the guitar. Okay, so E major. We're going to start with our second finger. It's going to go on the second fret, not on the top string, on the second from top string. Your third finger is then going to go not on the same string, but on the string below that. Okay, then your first finger, as you can see, goes 1, 2, 3, 4 strings from the top on the first fret to make E major. Like I said, the shape of it kind of looks a bit like the A minor chord that we've already done, but everything from the A minor is up 1 string. Here's A minor, move it up 1 string, everything E major. Okay, watch again from the start. So second finger, second fret, second string. Third finger on the string below that, and your first finger goes 1, 2, 3, 4 strings from the top underneath your third finger to make E major. Okay, so before we move on, I want you to get very familiar with those chords, how to build them quickly and how to get to those quickly from holding nothing down, okay? So go back and play that back a few times and practice building each of those chords individually before you move on to this next part. Right, so the next part is learning to change between each of those chords. And what we're going to use between them here is the A major. We're going to use that as our kind of home chord, if you will. Okay, so we're going to start here first. So you're going to start on the second fret. 1, 2, 3 strings from the top, which is the D string. Middle finger goes on the G below it, and your third finger goes on the B below that. Okay, so that's our A major again. Make sure you've got that accurate. Now, to change to a D major, what we're going to do firstly is we're going to lift this third finger off. Okay? Our middle finger then is going to go down right to the bottom on the same fret. Right at the bottom there. Then our first finger is going to go down 1 string from the D to the G. Okay, we've got 2 of our fingers in position, and your 3rd finger just goes on the string in between on the next fret. Okay, so that's the 2nd from bottom, the B string in between them. Okay, and that's how we play a D. Now to change back to A, again we take our 3rd finger off first, and we'll just have that hanging around for now. Our 1st finger is going to move up 1 string, like that, going from the G up to the D. Then our middle finger is going to go up 2 strings to the G, and then your 3rd finger is going to go back underneath that, so we're back at A major, back at our home chord again. Okay, so we go from A, lift it off, down to D, lift this one off first, back up to A. Okay, then the last chord to go to is the E major chord. Okay, so from A, what we do is we take our 1st finger off first. Then our 2nd and 3rd our 2nd and 3rd fingers are going to move up 2 strings. 1, 2, both of them. 1, 2. So they're in the E minor position here, but we're going to use our 2nd and 3rd finger, and that gives our 1st finger a chance to go 1, 2, 3, 4 strings from the top on the 1st fret, which is on the G, and that makes E major. Okay, then to change back to our home chord A, you take your 1st finger off first, your 2nd and 3rd finger is going to move down 1 string, 2 strings, and your 1st finger is going to go back on top of them on the D again to get to A. Okay, I want you to practice that change there with just 1 strum on each chord. Okay, 1 strum on each chord. So you start with the A, 3rd finger comes off, middle finger to the bottom, 1st one down, 3rd in between to make D, 3rd finger back off, 1st finger up, middle finger underneath it, 3rd finger underneath that one, back to A, 1st finger off, 2nd and 3rd finger up 1 string, 2 strings, not on the top string, on the 2nd and 3rd string, and then your 1st finger goes 1, 2, 3, 4 from the top on the 1st fret to make E major. Okay, I want you just to strum those once through each and get used to changing between those until you become quite fluent like this. Okay, practice that a couple of times round. Now there are a few songs that use this chord. The middle from Sing Up by Jimmy Eat World uses this one, but the one we're going to focus on is 3 Little Birds by Bob Marley, because this changes from the A to the D, back to the A, to the E, to the A, and has a lot of the changes in there. It's quite a short song when you break it down. Okay, so let's look at how these chords go with that song. So we're going to start with the chorus part, the part that we all know that goes, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing gonna be alright. Singing don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing gonna be alright. Okay, so the chorus part of this song just goes between those 2 chords. So it goes, on the word worry you play, it says, don't worry about a thing. And then on the word every we change, 'cause every little thing gonna be all. And then on right, back to the A, right. And that's the same thing again for the next part. Singing don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing gonna be alright. Okay? Practice playing through that part a couple of times and accompany yourself with it. Okay, so the next part we're going to look at is the repeated verse part. Now this goes in the order of A, E and D, and it does that twice before settling back on A. Okay, so we're going to start with our A major chord. It says, rise up this morning, A major. And then on the word rising, we're going to change to E. If you remember, you take your 1st finger off and put them 2 up, and then put your 1st finger back on the 1st fret, on rising. Okay, so it goes, rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. Then we go back down to D. So it's quite a bit of a jump here. It goes 3 little, think middle finger going down to the 2nd fret on the bottom, and then the rest of them build up around that. And it goes 3 little birds pitch by my doorstep. Then we go back to A, on the word sweet, singing back to A, sweet songs. And then of E, of melodies, pure and true, Back to D again, saying, this is my message to you. And finish on A. Okay, so that's A, E, D twice, and then we finish on A. The only tricky bit is going from the E major to the D major. So I'm going to show you very slowly how we play through that again. So we're just going to talk through the words. So it goes, rise up this morning, smiled, E major next with the rising sun. Three little D, three little birds pitch by my doorstep. And then back to A, singing sweet songs. And then E of melodies, pure and true. Saying D again, middle finger at the bottom. This is my message to, and finish on A. You. Okay? So, because the strumming pattern to this can be a little bit complicated and there are a few different versions you can do, I just want us to stick with playing one chord at a time here while singing, okay? So, just play each chord, one strum, don't worry, A, and then about it, D, one strum, and so on, okay? Just getting used to these changes because we've learned 3 new chords there and I just want you to become confident in those changes before we go any further, okay? If you are confident, try and strum along and see what kind of rhythm you can add to it, okay? Off the top of your own head. Happy playing, and I'll see you next time.